Now, looking at the clock, I may only have time to cover two of these, and if that's the case and I run out of time, what I'll do is before close of play today, I'll send you a link for a video that explains the third strategy, which is the business map strategy. I'm going to start in the vision pillar and particular dynamic planning step. I want to start here because I find in most businesses it's often a weak link, and it's one way for you to get some really big wins quickly. And what I'm going to show you is a real game changer for most business owners. Now, within each step of the roadmap, there's various strategies, tools, templates, tactics, resources that you can use to support and improve that particular part of your business. And as you can see here, this is an array of the most useful ones in dynamic planning. There are others, but for me, this is the top 10. And today we're just going to focus in on the golden nugget, which is the Powerplan. And the Powerplan is a strategy which is designed to enable you to manage and optimize your three most precious resources: your time, your energy, and your attention. Which is why I say you must always make the team. First for yourself, and then for the rest of your team. Because that's your actual job as a business owner. Don't know if you realise, your job as an actual business owner is to direct the time, the energy, and the attention of both you and your team towards the highest value activities or the highest results achieving activities within your business. So a great question to ask yourself: who's drinking all your tea? Or another way of putting that is, who or what is draining your time, your energy, and your attention? Because as a business owner, you've got this ever-broadening range of things you're expected to do when you run your business, but you've got limited energy. And such a wide range of roles is a big drain on that energy. Things like the queue of people that form outside your metaphoric office, wanting to discuss something or pick your brains. Have you got a minute, boss? And what often happens is they want to pass their problems onto you. Now, this could be a team member, it could be a customer, it could be a supplier, it could be a subcontractor. And you end up wasting your precious energy solving someone else's problems. As a result of that, your own to-do list keeps getting longer, which is just another drain on your energy. And this leads you to becoming a bit of a multitasker, because you often have to interrupt what you're doing in order to do something else. Then you get interrupted while you're doing something else, until it can get to the point where you don't even remember what you're trying to do in the first place. And the idea that you can become a multitasker is a real killer, because it often feels like you're a bit of a pinballer, getting bounced around from one thing to another, and not really getting to do the things that you want and need to do in your business. And that often leads to you needing to work late in the night or giving up your weekends to catch up. But it's not meant to be that way. It's not meant to be that way. That's not how business is supposed to work. And the idea that you can multitask your way to a better business, well, that's just a total myth. Now, I don't know if you realise, but as human beings, we're not capable of paying attention to two things at once. Our brains are just not designed to work that way. We're more like microprocessors, where we create the appearance of doing multitasking, but what we're actually doing is we're switching rapidly back and forth between tasks. But here's the thing: that switching's got a cost for our brains, just as it does with the processors. It means lower efficiency, lower performance, and it often results in a breakdown. Now, it's estimated that most people, when they're working, spend 28% of their time task switching. That's a bit like working with one arm tied behind your back. And let's not forget, that's the average figure, which means there will be ninjas out there who are great at getting things done, but that's going to be a much smaller percentage. So that number there is being inflated by the people who are doing much more task switching. And that's a really, really frightening statistic when you're a business owner who's paying people's wages. So what I'm going to suggest is that instead of your brain or your diary or your plan for the day or week looking something like you can see on the screen there, where you just go into work and let the day come at you, you're going to have a far better chance of taking control and being more successful if you create a power plan for yourself, so that your diary looks a bit more like this. Now, if you go to page 9 in your handout, now I want to stress, this is just an example, you're going to have to work towards creating your own version of this, a version that works for you, and it will take a bit of graft, but it's so worth the effort, because instead of coming in at the start of the week and your time, your energy, and your attention gets sapped away, you're already going to have a plan in place of what to focus on, so that you're getting all the important stuff done in your business, all the high value activities, all the result achieving activities. And by having one of these, you're also going to be able to realise when you're off track, so you can course correct quicker. Now, by the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a sucker for an acronym. And POWER stands for Perfectly Optimised Week for Exceptional Results. Perfectly Optimised Week for Exceptional Results. I suppose that could be effective results as well. So let's have a look how you can go about creating one of these for yourself, and you might want to start drawing yours out now. I just want to give you some ideas to get your own creative juices flowing. Now it all starts with you deciding the hours that you'd like to work, which is a bit of a novel idea, isn't it? Now you don't have to do what I've done here, which is theme the days, but by theming the days, what I'm doing is I'm sending a signal to my brain that this is my number one focus today. And that means if I can tick off my number one focus every day, it doesn't really matter what the rest of the day throws at me because I've won the day. And in business, we really do need to count our victories. Now, the first thing you want to schedule into your power plan is what you're going to do to maintain your energy. Things like your meals, your exercise, chill time, or time to meditate if that's your thing. Now, by way of example, what I've done is I've put a bit of lunch time in here for lunch. Then one of the most important assets you've got in your team, or is your team. Having one-to-ones with those is so important. It can be helpful, really helpful for you to keep everything on track. And what you'll notice is that what I've done is I've stacked them all together, so there's less of that task or brain switching going on. Now I realise for some of you on here today, you may presently be a team of one. But what you need to remember is this is just an example, because in truth, if you're a solopreneur, a one man or a one woman or a one person army, all these functions that I'm about to show you still need to happen in your business. So let me ask you, are they in your diary? Or are they just being left for chance? Or maybe, heaven forbid, they're not happening at all. Now, if I had those one-to-ones, the next day what you could do is hold a full team meeting where all the agreed actions that came from the one-to-ones can now be captured so that everybody in the business knows who's going to be doing what by when. And this will eliminate that I didn't know that was happening, or I didn't know I was supposed to do that excuse that you often hear in business. And it also leads to you creating a bit of accountability within your business. Now, and you also, as a business owner, get to delegate those one-to-ones, or what came from the one-to-ones, because the biggest challenge for most business owners is that they can end up with most of the work, and that's already on top of everything else they've got to do. So now you've got the most expensive asset, your team sorted. What we can do is start filling up what we need to focus on to take care of the business. So for instance, you could block out some time for implementing changes to improve your profit and cash. Now in a little while, I'm going to share with the Profit Maximizer, which is a perfect strategy for that time slot. You'll also notice that I've left the first hour of each day free. I'm going to share with you a little bit later on what that time can be filled with later on. But for now, just notice that I've left that gap deliberately. After profit and cash, we can go to the next step in the roadmap and reserve a bit of time for working on revenue and marketing. Implement ways to increase your conversion rate from inquiry to sale so that you're driving sales and you're growing your business using your assets much more effectively. Then the final block after launch could be a block of time for operations and systems. So you're actually devoting time to work on the business processes. Now what you might know, the eagle item which you may have noticed, is that by the end of the day on Monday, you've taken care of all aspects of the velocity pillar. And you're scheduling time to drive your business forward, and that means you're now more in control of its growth. Now we can always round the day off with some emails and some admin work. And you want to be doing this stuff when it doesn't require a lot of the brain power, and the end of the day is great for that because you might be flagging a little bit. But please note, this also means you're not checking your emails throughout the day like so many do. What you also notice is that this also means you're not getting pulled into someone else's agenda. You're staying focused on what's important to you, to your business, to your future. So you're now the one in control and you're keeping your power. Now Tuesday's already pretty stacked up. So what I've done is I've just slotted in some time in the afternoon to focus on financials and KPIs. And that could be right after you've spoken to your bookkeeper or accountant, so you're getting up-to-date information and relevant information. That means you could use objective evaluation, as I mentioned before, instead of that subjective judgment. And once again, what you'll notice here is we're eliminating that need for task or brain switching. Now, if you remember, that's the first part of the value pillar as well. And because you've already done a lot of the team stuff, And the only thing left for Wednesday morning to complete that level of the roadmap is to reserve some time for innovation and leadership, which is the perfect time to think about how can you communicate your progress and your plans towards your vision in that weekly team meeting. And now you can see that by Wednesday lunchtime, even though we're only halfway through the week, you've actually made time for the whole of the velocity and value pillars. Now think how fast you move up the levels of business ownership if week after week this is what you're focusing on. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, what about the vision pillar? Well, that's work you do up front and revisit occasionally, and really it's all about ensuring that everything you're doing is aligned to your 90-day plan of action. Now I do think, in our example, Wednesday afternoon is a perfect time to have some extra flexibility, either to take the afternoon off or to recharge, or to spend some time with your family, or to energize yourself. Remember, this is your power plan, and if recharging your batteries makes you more productive overall, that's a really smart move, isn't it? Because in truth, when you stick to your version of this, you're going to get more done in the first few days of the month, or in the first few days of the week, than you usually do in an entire month anyway, where you're just being pulled in every single direction. Now Thursday is about focusing on what often gets neglected and needs a lot more attention in most small and medium-sized businesses, and that's driving revenue and marketing. Now, if you've got a larger, more established business, you may have to place more focus on systems and processes. Now, I don't have to go into the 4 stages of business today, which shows you where you need to place your focus in the bigger, more established businesses. So what I've done is after lunch, I've put a little bit of time in there for operations and systems, and then a little space for admin and email. And finally, Friday, as you can see, I've themed it Freedom Friday, where you can take the day off, get away from the business, because now you're building towards a business that isn't so reliant on you being there. Or for you, it could be Flexible Friday, where you catch up on other things in your business. Now, one of the reasons I'm suggesting you get away from your business is because when you're in the thick of things, it can be hard to think and to concentrate. And you may find it difficult to get away from your business. I know some of you will find that. So as a suggestion, what you can do is you can use that slot in the first hour of the day that I've been keeping secret. Now, you don't need to do this every day, but it can be incredibly valuable to schedule some thinking time, actually creating some undisturbed time to ask yourself some really useful and deep questions that will help you avoid making costly mistakes in your business, where you can create for yourself some innovative solutions to drive your business forward. Because if you think about it, business is fundamentally an intellectual sport, and if you're not making time and space to think, then you'll deny yourself time and space to win. Now, there's a bit of a process that works really well for thinking time, so that it becomes really productive for you and it works for you. And if you want to talk about that process and how to structure it, then just reach out to us. Another alternative is to really go for it like some of our clients are doing and actually switch to a 4-day week. Now, there's studies being done at the moment which show how effective a 4-day week can be for business and employee and productivity. Now, that doesn't mean you need to shut your business down. It could be just you that's getting that 4-day week. So that's the power plan. I just want you to consider what difference having something like this will make for you, for your business, for your life, and how it can help you maintain your power and not let your time, your energy and your attention get sapped away by all the distractions that are vying for your attention on a day-to-day basis. Now, the true currency in life is time, it's not money. None of us have a time problem, we all have a priority problem, and a power plan will help you solve that. Now, there's a bit of upfront work and a process to go through to get this working like clock work for you, and once again, if you need any help with that, just reach out. Now, just for one final thing before we go to the profit maximizer, and jumping back into the idea of thinking time, I came across a quote recently, and it's really, really powerful and explains why thinking time is so important. I just wanted to share it with you. I'm not going to read the quote for you. I'm just going to say that it's a muscle. We need to strengthen it. And the idea of thinking time is a real game changer for everybody in business. Now, in the chat, what you're going to find is a link for this copy of the Power Plan, which you can use as prompts to create your own, and it's get your own creative juices flowing. And it really is a game changer. Now, something I say to all my clients when I start working with them is I guarantee they're working too many hours. and then together we will reduce those hours by 20% in the first 3 months. I have never had anybody invoke on that guarantee. In actual fact, what you can see behind me on the board there is our Genius model, which is designed to get you really tuned in to how you're using time and where you need to prioritise your time. And it's magical stuff, and it really works. And I think it was leadership guru John Maxwell once said, "Never underestimate the importance of just about everything." And that's so true. Okay, now we've got the first thing we scheduled on that power plan was working on profit and cash.